When she realizes you're no longer interested. Stoic shift in power. He used to text first every time. He planned every date, made every call, carried much of the weight. She was comfortable. He believed that was love, showing up, proving himself, being always there. Then one day, he changed. He stopped chasing. A message came later. He didn't call for a few days. He kept busy with his own things, working out, learning something new, improving parts of his life he'd ignored. It felt strange to her. At first, she barely noticed. She thought maybe he was just tired or busy. But then she did notice. She missed the small things, the texts, the check-ins, the way he'd show he cared. She felt a hollow where his presence used to be. Her mind wandered through memories. She remembered how she took for granted that he'd always be there. She asked herself, did I expect too much? Did I forget to appreciate him? She wondered if she had pushed him away without meaning to. She felt uneasy. She felt curious. Why wasn't he coming around like before? What had changed? And she felt something else too, a fear she couldn't ignore. Fear of losing him. Real fear, the kind that grips you when you see someone detach. From that distance, everything shifted. He wasn't just a guy who chased anymore. He became someone she couldn't assume would be there whenever she wanted. He became rare. Pulling back didn't hurt him. It made him stronger in her eyes. She began reaching out, initiating conversations, thinking about what she might have done wrong, trying to bring him back in. It wasn't about games. It was about him finally valuing himself. Because when he stopped chasing, he stopped giving away his power. And she saw, in that absence, what she once had, what she took for granted, and what mattered most. He used to always be there, texts, calls, doing all the work. She assumed nothing would ever change. Then one day he stopped chasing. He started focusing on his own goals, his own self, and stopped being so available. At first, she thought maybe he was just busy or tired. But she began to sense it. Something has shifted. Her heart raced when she noticed his space. She found herself replaying old messages. Why did he stop writing first? She noticed the empty side of her pillow where he used to text good morning. She felt that familiar ache, but it was different. This time it came from unexpected silence. She tried pretending she didn't mind. She told herself she was fine. But inside, there was tension, confusion. Was this his test? Was she going to reach out? Was she going to seem needy if she did? She waited to see whether he would fold under pressure, if his resolve would crack. Then she reached out subtly. A message. Hey, how have you been? Or, we haven't talked in a while. On the outside, these words seemed casual, but inside they were loaded. She wanted to know if she still mattered. She wanted reassurance. She was trying to gather info if he moved on, if she lost her place. Sometimes she asked more directly. Why have you been distant? Did I do something wrong? Her heart pounded. Not just because of what she said, but because of what she feared. Losing him meant losing something she thought she owned. As days passed without him chasing, she felt fear. Losing him felt too real. She started to remember what she took for granted. Moments of his care. The way he made her feel seen. And in these memories she saw the gap. His absence wasn't just physical, it was a loss of certainty. He didn't react the way she expected. He didn't apologize right away. He didn't chase. He stood firm. And it hurt, but also forced her to see him differently. She saw his self-worth, his independence. That changed her perspective. What she did then told her own story. Did she step in and try to win him back? Did she become more attentive, more thoughtful? She realized that her effort was no longer guaranteed. And somehow, in that realization, respect grew. For him as much as for herself. He stopped chasing her, started caring for himself. Even without saying much, she sensed it. Something changed. She posted photos. A group picture. Smiling with other people. A quote about moving on. A throwback memory of happier times together. She didn't tag him directly, but the message was clear. I'm still here, even without you. He saw the posts, but stayed quiet. He didn't react. Didn't comment. Didn't like. That silence hurt more than words. It showed he wasn't under her pull anymore. After a few days, she sent small texts. How are you? We haven't talked lately. She waited to see if he'd reach back. These questions weren't random. They were a gauge. Does he miss me? Did I maybe lose something? Then she changed things about herself. Dressed differently. Tried to be more engaging. More attentive. Her voice softer. Her words kinder. She smiled more when talking to him. None of it was hidden. It was all meant to be seen. She wanted him back in orbit around her. She wanted him to care. Scarcity, that sense that what he gave before was no longer freely given, changed everything. What used to be easy to get, now was limited. And that made him more important in her eyes. He didn't take control of her feelings, he just stepped back. And in doing so, he showed her who he really was, someone who values himself more than being constantly pursued. She reacted, not because of what he said, but because of what he didn't say, what he didn't give so easily anymore. He realized something had to change. She was growing used to being his priority, to having him always there, texting, planning, making everything smooth. So he quietly pulled back. He stopped chasing. He stopped always being available. At first, she hardly noticed. Maybe she thought he was just busy. But day by day, she felt his absence. The conversations got scarce. Plans faded. She felt the gap. Her mind raced. Why is he distant? Did I do something wrong? Does he care less now? Rather than reacting, he stayed calm. He didn't bombard her with messages or apologies. He didn't try to force explanations or chase her back. He just focused on his life, his work, his health, his passions. He held his ground. After some time, she started doing things to get his attention. She posted photos with other people, shared throwback moments, dropped quotes about moving on, all to stir a reaction. She would send messages. Hey, how are you doing? Or, we haven't talked in a while. She changed how she looked, dressed sharper, put effort into appearance. When she finally reached out, curious why he didn't reach out first, he replied simply, I've been busy. No melodrama, no demanding tone, just calm confidence. Her reactions came faster then. She called more, texted more, tried harder. She made plans. She was showing up in ways he used to. She was trying to bring him back into her world. She realized now his attention wasn't something she could take for granted. This is where scarcity comes into play. When your presence was easy, it was less special. But once it became rare, once she felt it slipping, it became more valued. Psychology calls this the scarcity principle. People tend to want more of what seems limited or out of reach. Still, none of what she did meant he lost his power. Because how he responded now matters more than what she does. This is the moment when many men slip. They start chasing again, giving up their boundaries, trying too hard. They fall right back into old patterns. But he didn't. He stayed composed. He didn't overreact. He didn't bend. He assessed. Are her efforts genuine? Are they aligned with a deeper change, or just a reaction to fear of loss? He didn't rush into winning her back. He kept standards. He watched how she acted consistently over time. Because real power isn't about control or manipulation. It's about self-respect, clarity, and knowing your value. It's about choosing how to respond when dynamics shift. It's about being solid inside, so no test thrown your way rattles you. So when the roles flip, when she chases, that test is even bigger. How you handle her effort determines whether you fall back or rise up. You must see whether she's respecting you or just reacting to the fear of losing something familiar. You must ask, does this person deserve to stay in my life under these terms? If yes, set the tone. Don't let old ways return. Make mutual respect and balance the foundation. If no, walk away with dignity. Because at the end of the day, your worth comes from within. Not from her attention, not from her actions, but from how you choose to be and how firmly you stand by yourself. Know this. Your attention is something you give only when it's earned, not just handed out. Your time and energy are not freebies. Being in your life is a privilege, not a given. So how do you keep that straight? By holding strong to your own standards and boundaries. Don't let things slide back into bad habits. If she starts taking you for granted, stops trying, or begins testing how much you'll allow, you must be ready to walk away. Because the moment you lower your standards, the moment you allow her to disrespect your time or energy, you give away the power you've worked hard to get back. And when you do that, the dynamic goes right back to how it was favoring her. Sometimes, you'll notice that her effort isn't real or lasting. It's just reactionary. Maybe fear of losing you or guilt. When you see that, it's okay to let go. Not out of anger, not bitterness, but with strength and clarity. Walking away does not make you weak. It shows self-respect. It shows you value yourself enough to refuse things that don't line up with who you are becoming. Psychology backs this up in a few ways. There's something called the scarcity principle. When something becomes rare, its value rises. If your attention is no longer freely given, if your presence is not guaranteed, it becomes more meaningful. Also, there's the idea of relationship contingent self-esteem, that unhealthy mode where someone's self-worth depends too much on the relationship, on being accepted or validated by the other. When you ground your self-worth instead in yourself and your values, you avoid falling into the trap of needing someone else to feel whole. So by staying true to your standards, guarding your time and energy, not rushing back into old patterns, you create real strength. You become a man who respects himself first, who uses detachment not as coldness, but as a way to protect his dignity. In doing so, you don't just gain respect from others. More importantly, you gain self-respect. And that's what really holds power in relationships, in life.